ওয়েলকাম টু বং ফুটবল। আজ একটা স্পেশাল লাইভ নিয়ে চলে এলাম। যেটা কথা ছিল তোমাদের সাথে ডার্বির আগের দিন, আগামীকাল ডার্বি, ঠিক তার আগের দিন একটা স্পেশাল লাইভ করব। তো সেই লাইভ নিয়ে আজকে চলে এলাম। আমাদের সাথে থাকবেন একদম স্পেশাল গেস্ট। আজকের মানে আগামীকালের ম্যাচ নিয়ে যিনি অ্যানালিসিস করবেন সম্পূর্ণ, এটিকে মোহনবাগান, এসসি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল, সেসব নিয়ে কথাবার্তা হবে আগামী সময়গুলোতে। তবে তার আগে যারা আমাদের চ্যানেলটা এখনো সাবস্ক্রাইব করনি, সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দিও। সে সাথে নোটিফিকেশন বেল আইকনটাও প্রেস করে দিও, তাহলে সমস্ত নোটিফিকেশন তোমরা পেয়ে যাবে। তো আমাদের এরপরের লাইভ অনুষ্ঠানটা ইংরেজিতে হবে, আর মাঝে মাঝে সব্যসাচীতে তোমাদের বলে দেবে বাংলায়। তো সেই সব নিয়ে চিন্তা করার কোনো ব্যাপার নেই। তো আমাদের সাথে আজকে থাকবেন সম্মানীয় ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার, যিনি আর কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যে আমাদের মধ্যে উপস্থিত হয়ে যাবেন। তো আগামীকাল ডার্বি অবশ্যই একটা উত্তেজিত ম্যাচ বাংলার ফুটবল প্রেমীদের জন্য। সে এটিকে মোহনবাগান সমর্থকই হোক, মোহনবাগান সমর্থকই হোক, আর ইস্ট বেঙ্গল সমর্থকই হোক, একটা উৎসবের দিন। তো এইবার যেহেতু গোয়ায় সব ম্যাচগুলো হচ্ছে আইএসএল এর, তো সবাই হয়তো সেভাবে উপভোগ করতে পারছো না। তবে চিন্তা করার কোনো বিষয় নেই, কেননা আগামী মরশুম থেকে খুব সম্ভবত আবার আগের মতোই খেলা শুরু হবে। তো সেসব নিয়ে তো রয়েছেই সেসব কথাবার্তা। তবে লাইভটা শুরু করার আগে আমরা একটা ছোট টাইমার নিয়ে নিই, বরং টাইমার নিয়ে নিই, তারপর সেই সময়ের মধ্যে আমাদের বাকি দর্শকরা উপস্থিত হয়ে যেতে পারবেন। আর আর কিছুক্ষণের মধ্যেই ট্রেভর মর্গান স্যার আমাদের মধ্যে উপস্থিত হয়ে যাবেন। তারপরে আমরা লাইভের আলোচনা শুরু করবো। আর কিছুক্ষণ বাদে আরেকজন স্পেশাল গেস্ট, আমাদের মানে হোস্ট, বলতে গেলে হোস্ট আমাদের মধ্যে থাকবেন, দেবার কথা। তো তার সাথেই লাইভটা তোমরা কন্টিনিউ করবে, আমি আর কিছুক্ষণ বাদে চলে যাব। তো চলো, একটা 30 সেকেন্ড টাইমারের পর ফিরছি, সাথে থাকো। তো আইএসএল এর ম্যাচগুলো মোটামুটি চলছে ভালোই। তবে এটিকে মোহনবাগান একটা ভালো স্থানে থাকলেও এসসি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল কিন্তু সেই রকম সুখ্যাতি এইবার অর্জন করতে পারেনি। তবে তারা যেভাবে খেলছে সত্যি প্রশংসনীয়। যেভাবে তারা কামব্যাক করেছে সেটা সত্যি প্রশংসনীয়, এবং আশা করবো আগামীতে তারা আরো ভালো খেলবে। এবং বেশ কিছু ম্যাচ তাদের রেফারির সমস্যার জন্যও কিন্তু ভুগতে হয়েছে। রেফারি সমস্যা তো এবার লেগেই আছে, সেটা নিয়ে আলাদা করে বলার কিছু নেই। তো চলো, আজকে যেহেতু আগামীকাল ডার্বি, তো সেই সেই বিষয় নিয়ে আজকে আলোচনা হবে। একদিকে এসসি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল, অপরদিকে এটিকে মোহনবাগান। দুটো দলেরই বেশ কিছু নামী খেলোয়াড় রয়েছে। টপ গোল স্কোরার বর্তমানে রয় কৃষ্ণা। আর সেই সাথে কিন্তু গত ডার্বিতে, মানে গত লেগে, প্রথম লেগ যেটা হয়েছিল, সেখানে কিন্তু মনবীর সিং এবং রয় কৃষ্ণা দুজন গোল করেছিল এটিকে মোহনবাগানের হয়ে। কিন্তু এসসি ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের হয়ে কেউ গোল করতে পারেনি। তো সেই ম্যাচটাই কিন্তু প্রথম ম্যাচ ছিল এসসি ইস্ট বেঙ্গলের। তো এইবার একটা ভালো, মানে অনেকটা সময় পেয়েছে, তবে সেইভাবে কিন্তু নিজেদের ফুটিয়ে তুলতে পারেনি। ব্রাইটের একটা অনবদ্য গোল আছে। আর অন্যদিকে রয় কৃষ্ণা, যে প্রথম দিকে সেইভাবে ফুটে উঠতে না পারলেও গত যদি 5টা ম্যাচ দেখো, 5টা ম্যাচে ওর অনেকগুলো গোল আছে। লাস্ট 3টে ম্যাচে, 5টা ম্যাচে হয়তো 6টা মতো গোল আছে। তো দুর্দান্ত। ইয়েস, হি ইজ কামিং সুন, স্টে উইথ আস। তো সবাই মর্গান স্যারকে নিয়ে, মানে মর্গান স্যারকে দেখার জন্য খুবই উৎসাহিত। তো আর বেশি কথা বাড়াবো না, আমি চলে যাব সব্যসাচীদের কাছে। এবং আমি তোমাকে জিজ্ঞেস করবো যে আগামীকালের ম্যাচটা নিয়ে এক্সপেকটেশন কি। আর মর্গান স্যারের কাছেও আমি এই কোশ্চেনটা রাখতে চাইবো। তবে যদি আমি থাকতে না পারি সেই সময় অবশ্যই আমার হয়ে প্রশ্নটা করে দিও যে এক্সপেকটেশন কি। তো চলো, কি বলবে আগামীকালের ম্যাচ নিয়ে?
হ্যাঁ, যেটা আজকে যেটা খুব বড় দিন, কলকাতা ডার্বির আগে কিন্তু একটা খুব গুরুত্বপূর্ণ দিন। এবং আজকেই কিন্তু আমরা পেয়ে গেছি ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যারকে। ট্রেভার মর্গান, যিনি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল কোচিং করিয়ে গেছেন, ফেডারেশন কাপ জিতেছেন, ক্যালকাটা ফুটবল লিগ জিতেছেন, তো একটা খুব ভালো দিক। এবং কেরালা ব্লাস্টার্স এফসিতেও তিনি কিন্তু কোচিং করিয়েছেন, ইন্টারিম হেড কোচও ছিলেন কিছুদিন, অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট কোচ তো ছিলেনই। তো সেক্ষেত্রে তাকে এত বড় একজন মানে লেজেন্ডারি একজন ফুটবলার, হ্যাঁ, প্লাস তোমার লেজেন্ডারি একজন কোচ তাকে আমরা পেয়ে গেছি, খুবই আমরা ধন্য। এবং অনেকেই দেখছি চলে এসছে, তো খুব বেশি কথা বাড়াবো না। এবং আমার এক্সপেকটেশন কি তপব্রত তার থেকে আগে জানার দরকার যে ট্রেভার মর্গ্যানের এক্সপেকটেশনটা কি, ট্রেভার মর্গ্যান স্যার যিনি কিনা আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট আজকে, তার এক্সপেকটেশনটা কি সেটা কিন্তু খুব জানার দরকার। তো সেটাই কিন্তু আজকে জানবো এবং বেশি অপেক্ষা করাবো না। ট্রেভার মর্গ্যান স্যারকে অবশ্যই নিয়ে নেবো এবং দেবার্গ দা কিন্তু অবশ্যই চলে আসবে। ইবিআরপি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল রিয়াল পাওয়ারের দেবার্গ দা কিন্তু খুব শীঘ্রই কিন্তু চলে আসবে, একটা কাজে বিজি হয়ে গেছে দেবার্গ দা। তো দেবার্গ দা কিন্তু খুব শীঘ্রই জয়েন করবে। ততক্ষণ আমি কন্টিনিউ করছি লাইভটা। স্বাগত জানাচ্ছি আমাদের চিফ গেস্ট আজকে ট্রেভার মর্গ্যান স্যারকে। ওয়েলকাম স্যার টু আওয়ার লাইভ সেশন।
Thank you.
হাউ আর ইউ?
I'm very well, thanks.
Okay, and many viewers are there who are waiting, eagerly waiting to see you, and they are from Australia. Someone is commenting. I can see, where is Morgan? I am from Australia. So it feels very glad to be in the live session with you. And currently, you are staying where? In Philippines.
No, at the moment I'm in Australia. I'm in Perth. Well, we live in Perth.
Okay, that's great to hear you. And the East Bengal tomorrow is the very great day because it's SC East Bengal against ATK Mohunbagan, the biggest ever. Means I hope that you have never seen Kolkata Derby bigger than this one. Any derby is not bigger than this one. That's I think. So
No,
this is the
it's a huge game. You know, in all honesty, before I came to India, I didn't really know anything about the rivalry between the two clubs. I got the job with East Bengal, and I checked on YouTube about the game. You know, and I was absolutely astonished when I saw the crowds that were there, and then after, you know, being part of that and being on the winning team and knowing what it means to the supporters of East Bengal to beat Mohunbagan. It was an amazing feeling, you know, when you're playing in Salt Lake Stadium and there's 100,000 people there. The atmosphere is great, and to send all the supporters home happy made myself and the players happy.
Absolutely, and the very big game, and it has reached means legacies. It has reached legacies, and now SC East Bengal in new form, and ATK Mohunbagan is a merged team with ATK Mohunbagan. They are merged, and SC East Bengal, their Sri Cement main sponsor they have got. So, what do you feel about the new team of SC East Bengal?
Well, I think it was this season was always going to be a difficult one for them. Probably it was very late, their entry into the Indian Super League. The team that was assembled was probably a team that would have been very successful in the I League this season. But you know, they're not in the I League now; they're in the ISL, which is a different league. And probably, you know, Robbie Fowler's come in as the coach. He doesn't really know too much about Indian football and the players, and this season will have been a good learning season for him. No doubt there'll be changes at the end of the season in the personnel at East Bengal, with probably some new Indian players coming in and maybe a couple of new foreigners. But you know, there'll be Robbie's choice, and I'm sure that next season probably will be a better season for East Bengal than this one.
Yes, absolutely. The main thing is they have entered late and got the less time that Trevor Morgan sir is saying. Trevor Morgan sir বলছে, বাংলাতে আমি কনভার্ট করে দিচ্ছি। ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার বলছেন যে তিনি কিন্তু খুবই উচ্ছ্বসিত এবং তিনি কিন্তু মানে এসসি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল নতুন ফর্মে এসছে, তারা খুব কম টাইম পেয়েছে, যেটা আমরাও চ্যানেলে বলে এসেছি, সেটাও কিন্তু তিনি বলছেন। এবং তার কিন্তু এটাই বক্তব্য যে মানে রবি ফাউলার তিনি কিন্তু খুব কম টাইম পেয়েছেন এবং পরবর্তী সিজনে কিন্তু আমরা দেখতেই পারি রবি ফাউলারকে খুব একটা ভালো উপহার দিচ্ছে। তো ওয়ান থিং I would like to ask you that new faces have been added like Bright Enobakhare in the January transfer window. Bright Enobakhare, he scored a world class goal against FC Goa. Have you seen or not? I don't know. But Bright Enobakhare is the most means fans favorite player now, and other side Roy Krishna is the hero. So what do you feel about Bright Enobakhare?
It's a bit difficult for me to sort of make a comment because I don't see too much of the games here. I get small 2 or 3 minute programs of just the goals that I can watch on that come from the ISL website. So you see the goals, but you don't really maybe see a true reflection of the game sometimes. But certainly, Roy Krishna, Fijian sort of Indian.
Yes.
He's been superb in the last 2 years, but Mohunbagan have a very settled side. They've got the same manager, not too many changes in their squad, and he's certainly he's a very, very good player, a top player. The guy from East Bengal, I've seen the goal that you're talking about, and it was a wonderful goal. Just shows the ability that he's got. But they're gonna. I think East Bengal are gonna have to play really, really well tomorrow if they're going to get anything from the game.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি তো উনি যেটা বলছেন যে ইস্ট বেঙ্গলকে কিন্তু খুব ভালো খেলতে হবে, এবং তিনি কিন্তু খুবই আশাবাদী, এবং ব্রাইট এনোবাখারের প্রতিও কিন্তু তিনি খুবই আশাবাদী, এবং রয় কৃষ্ণা অপোনেন্ট সাইডে কিন্তু খুবই ভালো খেলছেন, সেটাও কিন্তু তিনি বলতে চাইছেন। তো ওয়ান কমেন্ট ইজ দেয়ার দ্যাট হোয়াট অ্যাবাউট স্কট নেভিল, ইজ হি ইয়োর স্টুডেন্ট?
My student, well, I've known him since the day he was born. His father and myself are good friends. We play together in the same teams in England. We play together in the same teams in Hong Kong and in Australia. Stephen, his dad, we've worked together in coaching. So I've known Scott for a very long time. Certainly, I wouldn't say he was my student. Everything that he's done himself. I've seen him progress. He's worked really hard in training and in games, and he's earned his rewards by being a very dedicated professional footballer.
ইয়েস, অ্যাবসলিউটলি। তো তিনি কিন্তু বলছেন যে স্কট নেভিলকে তিনি কিন্তু চেনেন, এবং মানে বর্তমানে তিনি মানে জন্মতে দেখেছেন স্কট নেভিলকে, তার বাবার সঙ্গে বিশেষ করে ভালো পরিচয় আছে স্কট নেভিলের বাবার সঙ্গে। তো তিনি কিন্তু সেটাই বলছেন, এবং খুব বাচ্চা বয়স থেকে কিন্তু স্কট নেভিলকে প্রোগ্রেস করতে দেখেছে, কত আগে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে স্কট নেভিল সেটাও কিন্তু তিনি দেখেছেন। তো এনিওয়ে, নাও আই উড লাইক টু আস্ক ইউ দ্যাট এটিকে মোহনবাগান team, it is very much means Havas, very successful coach in the Indian Super League side, and you have also got the experience of coaching in ISL in Kerala Blasters FC. And how do you feel? What about Havas? What do you want to comment on Havas coaching?
Well, I don't think I need to comment on anything on there because his record speaks for himself. I believe he was with ATK in at the first year at Kerala Blasters when ATK beat us 1-0 in the final. I think the second year I'm not sure if they got to the final or not, but I'm sure that Habas was with them.
Yes.
I believe he went to Pune but wasn't very successful there. But he's come back to Calcutta again, and obviously ATK are a good fix for him because he's been very successful there, and he's a nice guy. I've met him off the pitch. He's a nice guy, but we're all different when we go onto the field and you want your team to win. I think he has very disciplined teams, but those teams still have freedom to play in and have good players in there, and all the success he's got has been down to the work that he's put the foundation in for the team.
Yes, absolutely. And যেটা তিনি বলছেন যে হাবাসকে তিনি কিন্তু খুব কাছ থেকে দেখেছেন, এবং হাবাস কিন্তু খুবই মানে দক্ষ কোচ, এবং তার সাকসেসটাই কিন্তু খুবই মানে সাকসেসটাই কিন্তু কথা বলে, সেটাই কিন্তু তিনি বলতে চাইছেন। এবং এফসি পুনে সিটিতেও তিনি গিয়েছিলেন, এফসি পুনে সিটিতে তিনি কিন্তু সেই অর্থে সাকসেস পায়নি। অর্কজ্যোতি সরকার কিন্তু লিখছে, স্যার লিখে, তো বলো, কমেন্ট করে জানাও তোমাদের কি কোশ্চেন আছে। ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার লাইভ আছেন, এবং অবশ্যই ওয়ান থিং নাও আই উড লাইক টু আস্ক ইউ দ্যাট ATK Mohunbagan is a very successful site, and their means this entry of the Mohunbagan entry, they have entered from I think if I am not very wrong, then from January last year, January, they have merged the team ATK and Mohunbagan. So what do you think that legacies, these two legacy clubs, they are coming to ISL? Indian football is developing or not? Because I have seen a previous interview of your that you are saying that in 2010 or 2012, I think you are saying that India needs to progress, Indian football needs to progress, and from where you have come, means you have seen the gym, pool, swimming sessions, they are very great level, and now with developing of ISL, what do you think, Indian football is developing or not?
Well, I think if you look at the FIFA world ratings, maybe in 2010, India in a far healthier position 10, 11 years later than they were then. You know, the I League was the only league that there was, but probably maybe, and without being disrespectful, probably the influx maybe of foreign coaches that sort of began to get jobs in India probably had a big influence on the players. Certainly when the ISL started, you know, if you look at the coaches and players that were actually in India to promote that league, you know, Zico, David James, Trezeguet, Robert Pires, Nicolas Anelka, you know, Zico, Roberto Carlos, and for the local players, for the Indian players, you know, coming in, working with people like that, working with really, really, you know, good, dedicated professional footballers from overseas can only help them. It's on the training pitch, off the field, the way they conduct themselves, the way they train, all of that. It takes time, and I'm sure over the last probably 6-7 years that the Indian players are now close to getting up to that standard, certainly of some of the foreign players that are there.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি। তো ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার যিনি যেটা বলছেন যে আই লিগের মানে তিনি যখন দেখেছেন খুব ডেভেলপ করেছে, এবং কোচেদের চাকরিটাও কিন্তু খুব পাকা হয়েছে, কারণ নিকোলাস অ্যানেলকা এবং রবার্ট পিরেস বড় বড় নাম যেমনটা তিনি করলেন আমরা দেখেও এসেছি। তো খুব ভালো কোচিং এর চাকরি একটা, মানে যে চাকরির স্থলটা কিন্তু ক্রিয়েট হচ্ছে, এবং অবশ্যই কিন্তু ডেভেলপ করছে। তো সেটাই তিনি কিন্তু বলতে চেয়েছেন। এবং অর্কজ্যোতি সরকার is commenting that how is your health, sir? You are looking quite skinny.
Nah, it's all good. We're good here. I wasn't. I'm not skinny. I was just a bit fatter in India. Too much good food.
তো যাই হোক, মানে তিনি কিন্তু ভালোই আছেন, এবং তো যেটা মানে মেন বক্তব্য হচ্ছে যে আগামীকাল ডার্বির কিন্তু একটা খুব উত্তেজনা রয়েছে, এবং ডার্বিতে তো হোয়াট ইজ ইউর প্রেডিকশন, স্যার? মিনস সিইং দ্য কারেন্ট কন্ডিশনস অফ এটিকে মোহনবাগান এন্ড এসপি ইস্ট বেঙ্গল, what do you think that who can win the derby for tomorrow?
Well, I think it's the same question I've been asked so many times, and the thing is that anyone can win it. You know, that's the nature of football. That's the nature of the way that it works. You can. There's never really. There might be a favourite, but once the teams go on the pitch, there's no favourite. It's such a shame that there isn't a crowd there. That, you know, that's all I can say, because when that game's played in an empty stadium, it's the same as every other game. But when it's played in front of 100,000 people or 70,000 people, it's a completely different game, completely. And that's, you know, I still feel the same now. Mohunbagan will be the favourites tomorrow, but certainly East Bengal can cause an upset.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি। তো তিনি যেটা বলছেন যে মোহনবাগানই কিন্তু ফেভারিটস, কারণ এবং খালি মাঠে কিন্তু খেলা হচ্ছে, সেটাও একটা ফ্যাক্টর। নাও টকিং অ্যাবাউট দ্য সেম what you have said, that it is a biosecure bubble this time, and the players are playing, means if the fans are not there, we are missing a lot. So fans, they are the main thing. 100,000 crowds, they support the team, and the roar, the Kolkata Derby roar, that is very much significant. And without that, I cannot understand how they are playing. And means they will play, they will play, but means the glory, that they will miss the glory definitely. They will not get the main taste of the Kolkata Derby. So that's what saying. And
No,
Ami, yes, tell sir.
it's a shame. It's it's just we're in troubled times at the moment, and this is the way that we're trying to remedy things. But if you ask the players, I'm sure that the players they would love to be in Salt Lake Stadium, and they would love for that ground to be full of colour and support, and they would love the atmosphere of playing there, and whoever the winning team is would love the reception that they get from the fans afterwards, But unfortunately, at this time, that's not going to happen, and it's a shame, because this might be the only opportunity in their lifetime that they would get to play in the Calcutta Derby. Some of the players might not be at the club next year when hopefully the crowds come back, and they'll have missed that opportunity, because it really is. You can't really explain what it's like, but it's you when you walk on the pitch and the hairs on the back of your neck come up. That's what it's like.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি, অ্যাবসলিউটলি। অ্যান্ড তিনি যেটা বলছেন যে ক্লাবের কিন্তু অনেক প্লেয়ারই থাকতে নাও পারেন। তো সেটাই একটা সুযোগ সবাই প্রমাণ করা, এবং সেটাই কিন্তু খুব মানে কি বলবো, মানে খুবই তিনি কিন্তু চাইছেন যে খেলুক ডার্বিটা, এবং খুব একটা যে কিছু অসুবিধে হবে প্লেয়ারদের তা নয়। অবশ্যই সল্টলেকের খেলাটা কিন্তু ডিফারেন্ট একটা। তো যাই হোক, আমার সঙ্গে কিন্তু দেবার্গদা চলে এসেছে। দেবার্গদা, শুনতে পাচ্ছ? দেবার্গদা, শুনতে পাচ্ছ? আচ্ছা, দেবার্গদা কিন্তু মনে হচ্ছে কিছু টেকনিক্যাল সমস্যা হচ্ছে। তো নাও আই এম কন্টিনিউইং দ্য লাইভ। দা উইল কাম উইদিন ফিউ মিনিটস। অ্যান্ড অনিন্দ দত্ত ইজ আস্কিং টুমরো স্কোর প্রেডিকশন, স্যার।
But look, I'd always want East Bengal to win, no matter what. So I hope they win 1-0. Any win.
You win 1-0. And Chayon Sarkar is telling that 2-1. So it is very good to see. And so I have a question from Bengaluru FC fan base, that Chinmaya bro is asking. Chinmaya is a very close friend of mine. He is asking, how did you felt while coaching in EB, East Bengal? How did you feel in coaching in EB?
How did I feel when I was coaching East Bengal?
Yes. Yes.
It was an honour. I really I enjoyed it. Obviously, there's little bits that you don't enjoy, but on the whole, I thoroughly enjoyed my time there. I think we were successful. I know that we didn't win the I League. It slipped out of our hands a couple of times, but all in all, I think during those sort of 3 years I was there, we were one of the most consistent Indian teams around. We did well. We learned in the early years of being in the AFC Cup, and then eventually, 2012, we got through to the semi-finals of it. Only Indian team to ever go unbeaten in the group stage. So the players can be really proud of some of the things that they achieved during that time.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি। তিনি কিন্তু বলছেন যে যেটা চিন্ময়দা আমাদের প্রশ্ন করেছিল যে কেমন ইস্ট বেঙ্গলে, কিন্তু তিনি কিন্তু খুব ভালো ফিল করেছিলেন এবং কোয়ালিফাইও করেছিলেন, ফেডারেশন কাপ জিতেছিলেন। তো সেইটাই তিনি বললেন। এবং অর্কজ্যোতি সরকার ইজ ওয়ান্স অ্যাগেন আস্কিং দ্যাট, স্যার, হোয়াটস ইউর ভিউ অন দ্য ম্যাচ রেফারি ইন আইএসএল? They have been given quite unfair decision against us.
It's always a difficult one, referees, because we all see the game differently. But the standard of refereeing in India, I've always felt could improve. You know, I feel that they should bring some foreign referees in to help the Indian referees progress and to help them understand the game more, to help them in their sort of journey to be a top referee. You know, the linesmen sometimes ball watch, which is very easily done. So you know, they're watching the ball. Someone will make a run. By the time they get the ball, they look like they're in an offside position, but in actual fact they're not. I think that some of the tackles there that I've seen are not very good, and certainly if they were in Europe, there would be circumstances for the players involved in that. But it's, you know, referees need experience as well. It's the same as the players. The players have had 7 or 8 years now of working with foreign players, working with different coaches. And I feel if the Indian referees, you know, had a referees coach or some foreign referees that came in as well, then their understanding of the game and their performances would improve as well as the players do.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Bhaskar Bhattacharya is asking, Bhaskar Bhattacharya, one of my very dearest friend, sir, please say something about Bright Enobakhar and Matti Steinman. Matti Steinman is a key player. Matti Steinman, sir, have you seen him play? Matti Steinman and Bright Enobakhar ke niye bollo jodio. Matti Steinman,
No, as I said,
yes.
It's I haven't seen the games. I just get sort of very small portions of the game where the goals are scored, and I haven't seen too much of Matt Steinman, but certainly Bright looks a very exciting player, and I'm sure that he's somebody that when he gets the ball, the supporters know that he can do something. They know that he can open the opposition up, and he's got all of those qualities. So, but very difficult for me to make a personal comment because I haven't really seen enough of them.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি, অ্যাবসলিউটলি। তো তিনি খুব খেলাটাকে কম ফলো করছেন, তাই জন্যই কিন্তু তিনি কমেন্ট করতে সেরকম ভাবে মানে চাইছেন না। খেলাটা দেখেননি যেহেতু, কমেন্ট করা উচিত নয়। ইন্ডিয়ান রেফারি, ডু ইউ থিঙ্ক দ্যাট ইন্ডিয়ান রেফারি আর স্লো?
Slow in what? Slow in running, or slow in making decisions, or, you know, slow in what they see? I don't. No, I don't think they're slow. I think sometimes they might be in the wrong position, but then again, that comes about through nobody there helping them progress as referees. You know, the coaches help the players progress, but the referees don't have anybody. So I think the answer is to try and you know, bring a foreign referee in and let him sit down and let the referee with him and the linesman watch a video of the game and to try to make improvements from that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And one thing I would like to ask you, that you have seen very great players play in your team when you were coaching EB. So what do you think the main difference between your time and now, means in this ISL, East Bengal in the new form? What do you think that any foreign, means foreigners, they are becoming more professional? As because they are professional, we know, but because more dedicated towards club, this is the concept. So what do you think that previously it was more, or now it is the same thing?
No, I think the players are probably a lot more secure now with their contracts. You know, certainly during my time in India, maybe not so much at East Bengal, but certainly at other clubs, a foreign player would come in, or they would have 3 foreign players. All of a sudden, a 4th foreigner would come in. One of the players would just be sacked with no salary and just sent home, put on a plane, go back. I don't think that happens there, and it shouldn't happen. If players sign contracts, those contracts should be honoured by the club. So I think that certainly that part of Indian football was progressed in a very good way.
অ্যাবসলিউটলি অ্যাবসলিউটলি অ্যান্ড তিনি যেটা বলছেন যে তিনি মনে করেন না, কারণ অনেক পেশাদারিত্ব, যেটা বলছিলাম আমি আর কি, যে পেশাদারিত্ব তো ছিলই, মানে মানে তখনকার দিনেও ছিল, এখনো আছে, কিন্তু এখন কি অতিরিক্ত পেশাদারিত্ব হয়ে যাচ্ছে, যে মানে ক্লাবের প্রতি কোনো ফিলিংস আসছে না কোনো প্লেয়ারের, তো সেটা কি হয়ে যাচ্ছে, তো তিনি কিন্তু মনে করছেন না সেই জিনিসটা। এখন কিন্তু অনেক সিকিউরড। তো ওয়ান থিং আই উড লাইক টু আস্ক ইউ নাও, আই সৌম্যজিৎ দাস ইজ কমেন্টিং দ্যাট, স্যার, হোয়াট উইল বি দ্য স্ট্র্যাটেজি ফর East Bengal to break a high quality defense of ATK Mohunbagan?
Well, I don't think you can have you can't really your strategy, because if East Bengal had a strategy to break down defences, then they would be at the top of the league because they'd keep winning games. So, all you can say, what you want to do, you need to get the ball to the players that can hurt the opposition in areas that can hurt the opposition. Certainly, you don't want Bright picking the ball up 70, 80 metres from goal in his own half, with a line of defenders in front of him. You want him to pick the ball up in between the line, between their midfield players and the back 4, so he can get and start running at people. So, every team has a strategy, but the players make that strategy work. And it's certainly tomorrow East Bengal will have to have, all of their players will have to be at the top of their game tomorrow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Bhaskar Bhattacharya is once again commenting, sir, what do you think about Robbie Fowler's overall coaching this season?
Well, again, I can't make any comment. I've never seen Robbie working. I mean, the man's been a top player in England, international for his country, played for the top team in England, been a great goal scorer. But it's not possible I don't think it's possible for him to put his stamp on the team in such a short space of time. He's got to be given time, because, as I say, there'll probably be a turnover of players now. Coming towards the end of the season, there'll be players leaving. Robbie will have seen players in Indian players and probably foreign players as well that he would like to bring into the club. So I think you can only judge him when all of those players in the team are his.
Absolutely. অ্যাবসলিউটলি। তো তিনি যেটা বলছেন যে তিনি কিন্তু মানে কোচিং এ তিনি কিন্তু দেখেননি, রবি ফowler অবশ্যই একটা বড় নাম। এবং রিতেশ মন্ডল ডেইলি আপডেটস লিখছে, হুইচ টিম উইল ডু বেটার ইন কাউন্টার অ্যাটাক, লাভ ইউ মর্গান স্যার।
Well, I don't know. It's the team that keeps the ball better that will stop the other team counter-attacking, because you only counter-attack when the opposition lose the ball in certain areas. And I don't know how both the teams play. I don't know if East Bengal sit deep and defend and get everybody back, and then they're able to counter-attack, or do they press high up the field? If you're pressing high up the field, then that isn't counter-attacking. So it's a difficult question to answer, because I'm not quite sure of how the two teams play. But it's about the players. Whichever team's players, the individuals perform better, they're the ones that are going to win.
Absolutely. And now one thing I would like to ask you, that means nowadays we can see in ISL many Australian players are coming, such as means Roy Krishna, one of the top player, Roy Krishna, Williams, and Means that this year SC East Bengal also picked up a very great combinations with Scott Neville. You have said also Scott Neville you recognize also. So what do you think that Australian players they are coming and bringing a pace in the football, or means previously when you were in Kerala Blasters you have seen coached them in front, means that time ISL and this time ISL. What do you think the difference is?
Well, I think probably before, a lot of the teams now have to have an AFC player in.
Yeah.
Before, Australia were part of Oceania, so
Yeah.
it was difficult to bring in those players. But now, because the ruling with the AFC and most of the clubs, have to have 3 foreigners or 4 foreigners plus 1 AFC player, it's given more Australians the chance to travel overseas and to play. Also, it's probably good because the season here in Australia is sort of just started. So a lot of the players have certainly Scott's come on loan, Scott Neville's come on loan, and he'll be going back to his parent club when he returns to Australia. And probably some of the other players the same as well. So it's been good for them that they've been able to continue playing through the off season, and they can now go back to their club and carry on playing here.
Absolutely. And now one last question I would like to ask you that do you think that this means when Somojit not means Orkojyoti Sarkar has when raised the questions of referee, that I would like to continue that means refereeing now this year totally biosecure bubble, means they are not getting to interact with the outside, they are not getting fans inside also in the stadiums. So do you think that this biosecure bubble has means affected the conditions of the referee, means the mentality and this what I would say that they are totally isolated?
I would think the referees are under more pressure when there's a crowd in there, because if you make a decision, if you're in Salt Lake Stadium with 100,000 people in there and you make a decision that's against your team and it's not correct, then the crowd are on your back onto you straight away. I mean, there is no pressure in the stadiums now. There's no crowd. So no, I don't think they're under no pressure at all from the crowd. The only pressure they're under is to perform in and do the job to the best of their ability and be impartial and fair to both teams.
Yes, absolutely. তো ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার বলছেন যে তিনি কিন্তু মনে করেন না যে খুব একটা প্রেসারে রয়েছে রেফারিরা, বেস্ট অফ দ্য এবিলিটি তাকে দিতে হবে, সেটাই কিন্তু তিনি মনে করছেন। তো ওয়ান লাস্ট কোশ্চেন স্যার বিফোর লিভিং ইউ, that is there any chance to return to India now?
You never know. I mean, at the moment, I have a job in the Philippines, but I've not been able to get in the country due to the virus. But I'm hoping over the next month that might change, because the team I'm with, we're going to be playing in the AFC Champions League. So for me, that's something really exciting, and I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, best wishes to you, sir, and we would like to see you back in India once more, because means one of the most finest coaches we have seen ever in East Bengal, and Kerala Blasters also you have coached. Means the Indian football circuit, you are a very well-known face and well-known means gentleman, that one of the most finest coach. So that's the main thing, and we would like to see you again, and hope for the best. That you have told that AFC Champions League you would have a great task to do, and hopefully we would see again another day we can meet in the live session, virtual live session. So thank you, sir, for giving your precious time, and we would meet you again someday.
Okay. Oh, that's good to speak to you. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
তো আমরা শেষ করছি লাইভ সেশনটা আমাদের ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যারের সঙ্গে কিন্তু শেষ করলাম আমরা লাইভ সেশন আজকে। কলকাতা ডার্বির প্রেডিকশন করলেন তিনি, মোহনবাগানকেই কিন্তু তিনি কিন্তু এগিয়ে রাখলেন। তো এখন যদিও দেবার্গদা বোধহয় এসছে আবার, এন্ড করে দিয়েছি আমি লাইভ সেশনটা, যদিও দেবার্গদার কিছু সমস্যা হয়েছিল। আহ, তো যাই হোক, আমি লাইভ সেশনটা কন্ডাক্ট করলাম আজকে। দেবার্গদা আনফরচুনেটলি একটু টেকনিক্যাল সমস্যার জন্য কিন্তু তিনি কিন্তু বেরিয়ে গিয়েছিলেন। তো যেটা ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার বললেন, খুবই গুরুত্বপূর্ণ একটা কথা, যে মোহনবাগান কিন্তু অনেক এগিয়ে, ব্রাইট এনোবাকারের খেলা কিন্তু চোখে পড়েছে এবং রেফারি কিন্তু অনেক প্রেসারে রয়েছে। মেন যে কি পয়েন্ট গুলো তিনি কিন্তু বলে গেলেন, এবং তিনি কিন্তু খুব একটা যে ফলো করছেন ফুটবল সেটা নয়, কারণ হচ্ছে তিনি ব্যস্ত, নিজে এখন অস্ট্রেলিয়াতে রয়েছে এবং ফিলিপিন্সে ইউনাইটেড এফসি বলে একটা টিমের কিন্তু প্রজেক্টে তিনি কাজ করছেন। তিনি কিন্তু কোচিং করছেন সেখানে, এবং এএফসি চ্যাম্পিয়ন্স লিগ তিনি কিন্তু খেলবেন। তো সেক্ষেত্রে সেটাই একটা বড় টাস্ক, এবং ইন্ডিয়াতে ফেরার কিন্তু পরিকল্পনা রয়েছে তার, সেটাও কিন্তু তিনি বলেছেন। এবং এক মিনিট, শুনতে পাচ্ছ দেবার কথা?
হ্যাঁ ভাই পাচ্ছি, একবার তুমি যে চেষ্টা করো যদি মর্গানকে পাওয়া যায়।
মর্গান তো, আর তুমি তো মানে এন্ড করে দিলাম না, ওই জন্যই তো এখন।
একবার তুমি যদি লিঙ্কটা পাঠাও, তাহলে কিছু কোয়েশ্চেন আমার কাছে আছে যেগুলো ফ্যান্স থেকে এসছে, হয়তো আমার টেকনিক্যাল কারণের জন্য আমি হয়তো অ্যাড করতে পারিনি, বাট খুব ভালো হবে তুমি যদি, মানে আমি অনেকটাই দৌড়ে দৌড়ে এসছি, অনেকগুলো কোয়েশ্চেন রয়েছে, তুমি যদি একবার লিঙ্কটা পাঠাও, যদি মর্গান জয়েন করে, আমার মনে হয় জয়েন করতে পারে 10-15 মিনিটের জন্য, যদি তুমি বলো যে যার কয়েকটা কোয়েশ্চেন ফ্যান্স থেকে এসছে।
এক মিনিট আমি মেসেজ করেছি, দেখতাম। আচ্ছা, এসছে। ট্রেভার মর্গান স্যার এসছে, আমি নিয়ে নিচ্ছি লাইভে।
Can you hear me?
That Devargoda was not there. Devargoda has some questions from he's a well-known, recognized face from East Bengal Real Power. He has some questions from East Bengal fan base. So Devargoda, তুমি কোশ্চেন করতে পারো।
Trevor, good evening. I hope you remember me.
I do.
Yeah, how are you, Trevor?
I'm all right, thank you.
Trevor, you have been always someone's very special, very close to heart of East Bengal fans, including me. Absolute favorite. I don't know, means how are you aware of this fact that you have been a heartthrob for East Bengal fans? Still, the bros and the skin have been means so, but you are still one of the heartthrobs of East Bengal fans with me. So thank you for giving the opportunity
Okay.
to ask you a few questions, Trevor. So my first question with means from the fans, I have been receiving a few questions on behalf of the fans, because when this went live that we are going to get Trevor Morgan, so I had some few questions. Shall you put some? Shall you give me the permission to ask some?
Yeah, of course. You can ask what you want.
Thank you, Trevor. First of all, how are you? How is the family doing?
No, we're all good. We're probably in one of the safest places on earth at the moment in Perth here in Western Australia. Yeah, it's life's pretty much back to normal apart from some travel restrictions.
That's so good for good to hear. So Trevor, first of all, I would ask you, because we have been hearing from different media that you have already commented on the inclusion of Scott Neville and the few foreigners who have been added this year as a foreigners. I'm so sorry that I have not been a part of this live session which have been conducted by Sabyasachi. So can you comment a 5-minute brief on the foreigners who have been a part of this?
I don't really know too much about any of the foreigners. Obviously, you know, Scott I spoke to before he went. He asked me about East Bengal. asked me what it was like in India, and I told him everything. It's such a shame that he's not been able to play in front of the supporters and the crowd and be in Calcutta, because obviously playing football in Goa for East Bengal is not the same as playing football for East Bengal in Calcutta. It's completely different. The foreign players I don't really know that much about, so I can't make a comment on that.
Wait, sir, 1 minute, because Devargoda is.
Yeah, Scott, sorry, Trevor, I'm so sorry. And the next question, if you can hear me, is that in your reign you had strikers like Tolge Uzbe, and you have selected the players like Uga Upara. And they are still the number one. Means if you ask them that in the last 10 years who are the best foreigners, undoubtedly they would be the first preferred, including you as a coach. So Trevor,
no, I think
yeah.
I was very fortunate with the foreign players. I certainly, Penn and Uga were there already when I went to East Bengal. We got Tolga in, who scored goals brilliantly for us. Then we got Chidi. Chidi was an absolute a pleasure to work with. He was a team player. He also scored plenty of goals for us. But my whole time there, certainly Penn and Uga were the backbone of the team, as were Saul McDay and probably Metab and Govinda. All those players were. Those players were.
Now, Trevor, this leads me to another question. Means being a top shot coach in India and all over the world. Let me ask you one question. That now, see, as you said that you had this Penn Orji already in the squad, and already Uga Opara in the squad. You didn't know their means game and everything. So let me ask you something a bit different. Let me ask you that now you selected Tolge and then you got Chidi. So means how much a coach coach puts in when you have already selected a foreigner, means your team management before you have been selected as a coach, the team officials have selected players. Means if I can just brief you a bit, suppose you are selected as a coach and then you get a player which you means the attributes of that player, the competency of the player is not what you wanted, but you get the best out of them. So do you agree with the fact that means a coach can get the better of the player if he wants? If I'm not sure.
No, I think it's up to the coach to try and get the best out of the player that he can, but it's also up to the coach to bring in the players that he wants in the team. It's not the management who get the sack if the team don't win. It's the coach. So the coach has to be responsible for the players, who comes in and who goes out. And sometimes that wasn't the case at East Bengal. There were people above me who thought that they knew better with players that should come in. It didn't happen that often, but it did happen. But really, ultimately, all the players have to be from the coach, because it's the coach's responsibility. So you have to have people in that you want in, not that somebody else wants.
Now this leads me to another question, Trevor. I'm so sorry, but see, you being a coach would never like Tolgate to be released after 2 years, means 1.5 years, to be the top performing striker in your team, and then you get a Chidi Ede. I don't know whether you selected Chidi or not, but you don't get a player like Tolgate. Then I don't know, again, once as I said that you get a Chidi Ede. Now suppose that Chidi didn't means play the way Tolge played. Fortunately, that you get a player like Chidi and you get, means you selected, definitely your grace is there. But now just means asking from a point of view of someone who is neutral, when he selected a coach and he gets a set of foreigners. The foreigners' role in Indian football is so high. So you got a
Yeah.
player like you, means the attributes you wanted you didn't get. But means I'm not talking about Chidi or someone else. Means you got
No.
on, you made the best of the players. So I ask you
Yeah.
the question a bit round, that suppose you don't get the players you like, or you don't feel that the attributes are matching your thinking. So what do you then do then?
Well, if you get players in, first of all, you have to be sure that you're bringing the right players in. I mean, Tolgay scored many goals for us at East Bengal. He was one of the top strikers that we had there. But his contract was finishing. I think Mohunbagan had offered him quite considerably more money to go and play for them. Football's a short career. Tolgay made the decision that that's what he wanted to do. So, I wished him good luck. This is football. So the thing we had to do then was replace him. I'd seen Chidi play for Salgoka. I was really impressed by the way he played. I really liked how he went about his game. We brought Chidi in, and nothing changed. We were still successful. We beat Mohunbagan the last game of the season, I think, to win the Calcutta League.
Yeah, 3-2. Absolute pleasure to was that.
Yeah, Tolgay had quite an injury-prone season with them, so the deal it worked out brilliantly for us. But that's sort of you have a list. I think you can't. I always had a list of maybe if Tolgay wanted to go, okay, then we've got Chidi as our number one choice. We had someone else as at number two if Chidi couldn't come, and someone else as number three if Chidi and the number two couldn't come. But that's just the way that football is. It's the way it works.
That's so humble means answer to Trevor. My last question would be a bit tough for you. I think in Kolkata, your smile is very rare to speak. Also, you had a good smile. I must admit, Trevor. So my last question would be that selecting domestic players would be really tough in Indian football circuit, especially if you have means if you are a coach of the Mohunbagan or East Bengal teams. So, how tough was to influence as a coach the domestic players to sign in your club? Was that really means tough, or is that impossible from your side?
No, I think word travels pretty quickly in football. I think, well, hopefully, I would have been a new experience for the players in my first season there. As I say, Metab, Sulmik, they were there all the time with me. Govinda, who came in, was also the same. And when word travels quickly in football, so if the players the team start winning and the players are successful, and other players from other clubs then start speaking, oh, well, what's it like at your club? What's the coach like? What's the training like? What are the team like? Well, I'd like to think that I was a positive influence on that, and that the players also came to play for me as well as they came to play for East Bengal. Obviously, East Bengal was the attraction because they're a huge club, a huge fan base. But what's the point in going somewhere if you're not going to be happy? I always wanted the players to come training, to be happy, to enjoy their training and to work hard. And that sort of paid off, I think, in the results that we got.
Absolutely great, and thank you, Trevor. Now, the last question is not a question from my side. It's just out of curiosity. I've read so many books, means of different characteristics of self-development. Let me ask you something of my personal trait. Trevor, what made you so famous in East Bengal? You didn't kiss the fans. You didn't means said anything which could have pampered the fan. What did you feel that made the difference? Means let me tell you. Let me tell you first of all, very honestly, I'm so happy to see you in live. It's making me blush in front of my daughter and my wife. They are saying that who is that you're talking to? Now, let me tell you this honestly. My daughter is saying, Papa, who are you talking to so happy? I don't know. Means my childhood memories are so happy with you. Means this is the first. If you know that the last game of you, it was me from the stand who started that chant of Trevor Morgan. So means I don't know what is making me blush. But my daughter is asking me, "Who are you talking in the hell, which you making me blush?" Trevor, you are something different. So what made it? What do you feel?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just me. I'm no different than anybody else. Just because I have a job that's a good job, that's a high profile, that the team were winning all the time. But it's just, I just tried to be me. I respect all people. I don't treat people differently. You know, I would go out of my way to help anyone if I could. So it's just, you just have to be yourself. I'm not anybody else but me.
You know what, Trevor? Let me conclude it. It's like that. You don't know what made it famous because you didn't make it with your awareness. It is all about your personality. What's all about your humanity. Thank you, Trevor Morgan, for being such a beautiful human being, because human being is a rare race right now. You know that. And from my end, thank you very much. I joined very late because I had some technical issues. So Basachi knows that. I ran up. You know what? I couldn't change my shorts and everything from my office when I came back. I knew that I had to ask Trevor some questions. So thank you, Trevor.
No
And
problem.
Sobosai Tujuri Kijiboli. Thank you.
You're
ঠিক আছে,
welcome.
okay, thank you sir for your precious time once again. Okay,
So thank you for coming
Okay.
in this channel live, and we had an absolute pleasure to have you as a guest, and hope that you will interact with the East Bengal fans very much. You know what, sir? That every time East Bengal loses a match, a name comes in the mind. That's Trevor James Morgan. Sir, stay well. So, yeah, this is the honest
Okay.
fact. I'm not pampering you. You know what? Means I don't have. I'm not an official to pamper you. This is a humble. Note from a fan who used to watch a game with everything on the line. So Trevor Morgan, all good wishes to you, and with you and your family, sir. Wish you to see once again in East Bengal colors, and stay well, sir. So from the entire fraternity of this live community of Bong Football, sir, stay well, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you, sir.
Okay. That's very nice of you to say that. Thanks very much.
Thank you, sir.
thank
Thank you. Good night, sir.
Okay.
Good night.
Good night. Bye.
Good night. Bye, sir.